Welcome to the second part of this video. So last video I covered ongoing series, the winter, as well as the spring 2018 anime. So if you're interested in watching those, go ahead and find a link in the description where I'll talk about those. But now I'm going to go ahead and move on and talk about the other anime in 2018. So just a reminder, this is going to be me talking about the anime itself, as well as what it's about, and do I like it or not. Anyways, that's all I had to say. Let's go ahead and move on to the summer 2018 anime. Isekai Maou to Shoukan Shoujo no Dorei Majutsu, or How to Not Summon a Demon Lord, is another Isekai harem anime. The main character was known as Diablo, as he was the strongest character in the video game. His name holds power, and truly no foe can really challenge him properly. When he gets transported into the game via a summon, the two girls try to apply magic so that they must obey him, since he is too strong and can deflect that magic. He reflects that onto the girls and they become her servants. Meet Servant 1, Miss Opai. Shara L. Greenwood. She's an elf that, well, lacks common sense. She's an airhead that really, I don't know, she's like, where did all those nutrients go? Now let's get acquainted with the second servant, Rem Galu. She is the Neko Tsundere washboard. She's not an airhead, but she has her own baggage. She satisfies the Neko fetish, she's tsundere, and she's the extreme opposite of Shara in a certain area. Because this anime needs that kind of comedy. Anyways, the anime itself, it's decent. There are some more excusable elements in this anime. The plot isn't the worst. There are some parts where I really question the logic that it has. And seriously, a guild master bunny? Who doesn't even know what clothes are? Like, see, it's clear that this anime really focuses on, well, on things that sell well. Anyways, I did enjoy myself watching this anime, and I do plan on watching if more comes out after this season. But it's clear that ecchi is a really strong element in this anime. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe there was an uncensored version. So, if that interests you, I guess go watch that. But it's abundantly clear that it really rides on that factor. Well, the anime does get more serious in other parts of the season. I still got a question a few of the plot elements. Certain characters just seem too convenient and weird. Anyways, I would recommend watching this. It's the basics of the anime is still decent enough, but there is a lot of ecchi in this. So, believe it or not, Madhouse decided to make a Season 3 in the same year of Season 2. I honestly thought my eyes were deceiving me, because it came out just so quickly. As much as I want to give a recap of what happened beforehand, I'm not, because, well, Season 2 was also this year, and I already covered it, so whatever. You already have a decent idea of what occurred into that, so I'll just be relatively broad. So the season was more interesting as Season 2 felt a little bit more dull. The world building does continue, but it focuses more on Ainz himself, as well as his big group who are slowly trying to take over the world. Tensions build up a lot more, and a lot of the necessary backstory is over, and we get far more interesting fights, and we get to learn about more interesting characters who are also more important to the plot. Anyways, it's just good Overlord once again. All that stuff you enjoyed about the original Overlord, it's back, and things just get bigger and better. I'm really excited to see what Overlord 4 will offer when it comes out. I highly recommend watching Overlord Season 3. Tada-kun wa koi wo shinai, or Tada Never Falls in Love, is a series about Tada Mitsuyoshi, a male photographer that falls in love with a foreign exchange student known as Wagner Teresa. Tada runs a coffee shop with his family, where the whole photography club often meets. They hang out there a lot, they go out and take a lot of photos. It's a slice of life anime with comedy and romance sprinkled all over the place. And there's just a random episode just about their cat. Of course, this series would be lame if there was no drama, but I'll leave it up to you to figure out what that drama is. If you enjoy romance, this anime definitely has that too. In fact, romance is one of the big selling points of this anime. So it's a really nice, happy slice of life anime where they go around and happen to be in a photography club. I do really recommend watching this. I think it's a really sweet anime, and if you're into anime of any of the genres I mentioned, this might be a good fit for you. And also, I really do enjoy the opening for this anime. It's really fitting and it's a really nice song. RErideD is an anime series about time travel. The world is in a futuristic state. The main character, Derrida Yume, works for a tech company, and a higher-up that looks like Donald Trump, I guess, takes over the world with robots. Derrida barely gets away with his life, then he conveniently falls in an area where he just accidentally uses some cryogenic chamber that freezes his body, which then he'll be released in the future. Well, ain't that convenient. Honestly, I didn't really get that far in this anime. This anime feel like it had potential in the beginning, but I was wrong. Characters are plain, and I'm not really sure what the anime is trying to be. It's just a mismatch of just a bunch of different things trying to go on. It's just a mess. Major flaws are everywhere. Honestly, big pass. You probably should ignore this anime, to be completely honest. Yuragi-sou no Yuuna-san is about a guy named Kogarashi who decides to live in a hot springs because it's really cheap there and he's broke. The thing is, this place is haunted. Now he's okay with that because he is a psychic, and as a psychic he has the ability to physically beat up such spirits. When he goes to live there, he realizes that all the residents are some form of kind of spirit. Yuuna is a ghost, which is one of the main characters, which frankly is about as far as the ghost as you can get. We also have a cat girl who decides to sleep wherever it is warm, which happens to be Kogarashi 100% of the time. We got a voluptuous and very seductive drunkard, an aggressive female ninja who can only misunderstand every situation, and a loli that is a caretaker and apparently is the oldest. Some recurring thing that anime always has to do for some reason. So each girl possesses a power which serves as a reason for comedic relief, which backfires solely to Kogarashi. It just feels like each character is just there just to make his life harder, and that's about it. After a few episodes, it becomes clear that jokes become reused a lot of comedy is just raunchy or ecchi. Ecchi might as well be a part of the title because frankly that's about all that really happens in this anime. Honestly, I'm not really sure what the appeal of this anime is beyond ecchi and cheap comedy. Some of you guys might like that, but it gets a little dry after a while. It's up to you if you really want to watch this, but I personally don't really recommend it that much. It's just way too ecchi, and the characters just feel like they only serve the purpose of doing one joke over and over again and just in different situations. So if you like ecchi, if you like harem anime, go watch this. If not, probably pass. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I actually forgot I watched about half of this anime a while ago. That's not that important. Anyways, let's talk about this anime. So in Jashin-chan Dropkick, we have a slice of life comedy where a bunch of girls, which are essentially just moe versions of supernatural characters, such as like an angel, a human snake, Medusa, a cow? I don't know, guess that makes sense. Anyways, as an anime, it's not too shabby. The comedy is mildly amusing, and it doesn't get too repetitive. Yes, some elements like Jashin always tries to kill Yurine, which is the godlike girl, but other things not so much. So it does a decent job of trying to do something new every single time, and I don't know, it's not amazing by any means, but it does the job. It makes me laugh once in a while. The one thing I do gotta say, it does get a little gruesome with certain parts of the anime, but that's manageable, I guess. Anyways, it's not a top tier comedy anime, but it does its job, and it's got moe and comedy, and sometimes that's all you need. Have you ever wondered what a biology class would look like if it was an anime? Well, stop wondering, because welcome to Biology the Anime, Hataraku Saibou, or Cells at Work. Now, this isn't about Microsoft Excel cells or jail cells, or the jail cell that is school, but this is more about literally cells at work. So from what I remember from freshman year in high school biology class, there are red cells and white cells. The main character is a red cell, and red cells deliver oxygen throughout the body. Of course, there are white blood cells throughout the body, or white as chalk. That's what I look like after I take the finals. Well, the author at least knows the basic biology. It's interesting to see how parts of the human body are depicted in the anime, such as, say, like the hearts or kidneys. Can't say I've seen an anime like this, but it's also really nice to see why certain things happen, because they explain it through footnotes on the side. And that is something nice to see, because you get to learn a little bit more about the body while enjoying an anime. And oh my, so that's what platelets look like? Oh, I just can't. The idea of the show is just so dumb that it works. And I just can't explain it. The writing is pretty decent, and just the interpretation of how things are is just pretty well done. Just watch it yourself to see if you like this or not. If you enjoy science or biology, you just might appreciate this anime. So, who wants an anime that is about a middle school kid who basically has his own harem with mostly older girls? Well, we have an anime that fits that description. Sunohara-sou, Kanrinin-san is an anime where a young boy named Shina moves into a dorm with 5 other girls. Now, Shina is known for looking very feminine, and consequently he is treated as one, hence why he's in this dorm in the first place. However, it's Shina's goal to make him more manly, as obviously someone of that age probably doesn't want to be associated with being feminine. Does being in a harem make you more masculine or feminine? What do you mean you don't know? The anime itself does a decent job of keeping the audience entertained. The anime does resort to focusing on the female body a lot, but each girl is unique and brings in different personalities that make a more interesting bunch. Overall, it's not a bad watch. We got, big opie girl, we got short girl, we got flat girl, stuff like that. But again, not a bad watch. It's overall just another slice of life anime where most of the focus is at the dorms and the interactions of the young boy with the older high school female girls. Now that you think about it, that does sound pretty weird. Grand Blue, by my surprise, was a very good watch. If you enjoy comedy anime, this is one I highly recommend to watch. In this anime, we have Kitahara Iori, who is a college freshman. He moves in where he gets acquainted with the diving club. The problem is, they don't exactly wear clothes that much. And yeah, I get it. That part is really weird. But if you look past that, you open up yourself to a pretty good anime. I gave the anime a chance and it was worth it. The anime depicts a lot of the realities of a male college student's life. They go party and do a lot of silly things, but there's also other moments that I could relate to. One thing that really grabbed me was the fact that, well, it was a diving club. This might not interest you per se, but I actually have taken scuba diving classes a while back, so I was really interested to see how the anime will handle it. It was very interesting to see how they talked about all the things that they learned back in my class. Perhaps it's due to the fact that I can relate more to the series, that I actually enjoyed the show. But beyond the diving, it's a really good comedy slice of life anime, a lot of things what you expect from a slice of life. It's in there, and it's funny, and it's enjoyable, and it's different every single time. So I would highly recommend go checking this out, especially if you love comedy. There's also some romance in there as well if you're interested in that. But seriously though, this anime is really funny. I laugh all the time watching this. So do yourself a favor and just check this anime out. Goblin Slayer, the edgiest anime of the season. Maybe. Goblin Slayer is definitely one of the more serious anime out there. So the story follows a young cleric girl who joins a guild, and well, let's just say the first quest didn't go so well. After that she meets Goblin Slayer, and all he does is slay goblins. Guess that's quite a fitting name for him. Anyways, this anime is pretty in-depth when it comes to dealing with goblins. Granted, goblins are low-level monsters, but it paints the harsh reality when fighting monsters. It can be really gruesome. It's refreshing coming from someone who has watched a lot of Isekai anime. Now my problem is how far an anime can go with just the main concept of killing goblins. It's called Goblin Slayer, so it's got to focus on Goblin Slayer who focuses on slaying goblins. And I mean, when you're ever playing an RPG game, yeah, you might slay goblins for your first few levels, but when you start reaching those mid-levels, you don't want to be fighting that same thing anymore. So the question is, how long can they keep doing that with this anime? I don't know, I didn't read the manga, so we'll see. But so far it's remained very interesting, and we get to learn about a variety of characters, situations, and locations, and the plot has been keeping me interested overall. I hope to see it continue on, and we'll see if it goes on in the future. Overall, I do recommend it, but it is more serious, so if you don't like super serious anime, avoid this. and yes, this is also a bit more gruesome than the other animes out there. So here we have an anime about ninja girls saving the day. They can become more powerful by biting into spice such as a cinnamon stick or mint, and they break their limits. And that's where my problems with this anime begins. So why does biting into a cinnamon stick break your limit? I mean, because it's supposed to stimulate your brain, and it gets so your brain can go beyond the limits. That's not how spice works. And have you ever had a stick of raw cinnamon? It smells great, but it's nasty. I really don't notice anything special when they really release the spice. No magic or special moves, as far as I tell. Make it slightly faster or more athletic, I guess, but nothing super special. But technically that's just a guess, and not so much of an observation per se. But then again, what do I know about spices? Also, the main character has a scent stronger than a dog and has binoculars for eyes. Like, isn't that a bit much? No. Spice came from the Latin's Sypce, which means to behold or look. Sypce eventually became esprit in Old French, which then became spy in Middle English. Nice try though. I gotta admit though, I really like the opening. It's catchy and has good animation. And really, that's about one of the only bright sides about this anime. Also, there's Aya Uchida, as I talked about a little bit before. And that workout regimen is harder than Saitama's in One Punch Man, so I guess they'll all be stronger than him. And bald. I haven't watched too much of the anime, but from what I've seen, it's okay. I don't hate it, I don't really care for it. It has some seiyus that I enjoy listening to, and the open song's really great, but that's about it. I don't really think I would recommend this to anyone, as the anime itself is lackluster and overall underwhelming. And with that, I'll have my superpowers soon. When I first read the title, I thought this was a stupid idea for an anime, so that's why I watched it. However, it didn't take long before I realized the true level of quality of this anime possesses. If you aren't aware, slimes are very low level, weak creatures. They aren't really something to be afraid of, but the thing that makes this slime special, beyond the fact that he's the main character, is that he possesses a unique skill known as Predator. He can consume something and he gains its powers. That leads him to become a true powerhouse. Despite his limitless power and potential, he is gentle and humble. When he reaches a goblin village, he decides to protect them rather than killing them, despite the goblins usually being depicted as evil beings. And as someone who watches a lot of Isekai anime, this one is very bizarre yet intriguing. There's a wide variety of characters who each are unique, and it just makes the show just a good watch. I would highly recommend watching this. It's only halfway done. There's 24 episodes, and 12 episodes are out as of recording right now. And I don't really want to spoil too much, but there's a lot of building up the village, and it just progressively gets more interesting as more conflicts and tensions occur. It's got a good amount of comedic relief and other elements such as drama on occasion. So yes, I highly recommend watching this. Sword Art Online Alicization is the next series in Sword Art Online. Is Kirito the main character? Asuna's doing nothing. We are another VR MMORPG game. Time to tune out? Not yet. So this anime is about a project which could help Kirito out. The project is about this girl named Alice. Kirito plays in this massive RPG world where it's like your typical VR MMORPG game, except the NPCs behave like normal beings and there's no one else participating. Kirito starts in this world as a kid and he grows up in that world where he has two other kids as friends, one of them being Alice. Yes, she reminds me of Alice from Alice in Wonderland. The society has rules where you can't enter an area as it is forbidden. Being kids and, well, kids aren't that smart, they decide to go near that forbidden area because they want ice from a cave. The ice from the cave is so they can refrigerate their food so their food won't be as bad as when they eat it. Yeah, it kind of sounds a little stupid. The travel to get to the cave is quite the distance. You know, like, the ice would probably melt before you get home, so what's the point of getting the ice? So yeah, I have problems with a lot of the logic here. They go into the cave, you get lost, what else would you expect? They eventually find the ice, and of course some stupidly strong magical sword in there. They decide, let's go right next to the forbidden area. They get right next to the line because that's smart. Alice trips over air, she goes over the line, break the rules, she runs away, and Alice is taken away for breaking the rules. She's gone, so there's a pretty stupid build up there, but afterwards the anime gets better. They are on a mission to save Alice, but just don't cross the line. There was no reason to get near the line. It's like not that hard. You went way out of your way to get next to that line. You spent almost a whole day traveling there, and then you accidentally fall over the line. On a serious note, the anime feels like a better edition of SAO. It feels like they put more effort into small details, and it feels more fleshed out. The characters overall feel a little more important. I just can't really get over why the heck we were in this situation in the first place. Beyond that, it's a decent watch, and if you're an SAO fan, I guess go ahead and watch it. Did I mention there's goblins too? Uchi no Maid ga Uzasugiru, or Uza Maid for short, is definitely a contender for one of the funniest animes of the year. The characters are outrageous and goofy, the jokes are not overused, and some character development occurs throughout the whole anime. The anime is about a young girl named Misha who is recovering from the loss of her mother. Due to that, she stays at home all day long. Her father decides to hire a maid to help him out. The maid they hire is Kamui Tsubasa. The problem? She is a lolicon. A really big one. She chases Misha, and Misha hates it. Misha reacts so rash to her that it's the reaction that makes a good formula for comedy. Of course, other characters become involved in this enjoyable series. I honestly cannot recommend this anime enough. Every episode leaves me laughing and wanting more. The characters are so goofy that it keeps me coming for more and more after every episode. So, if you're looking for a really good comedy anime, I highly recommend this one. Seishun Buta Yarou wa Girl-senpai no Yume wo Minai is the first anime to have a playboy as their mascot. Actually, I'm not going to check if I'm right or wrong on that. Would rather not. So this anime is about what they call the puberty syndrome. Ah yes, puberty, a time filled with fun, full of understanding and acceptance. The fun stuff. The puberty syndrome occurs when someone, which in this case is almost always a girls, because otherwise how would they have a harem anime, has a desire to change. Their struggle changes reality literally as they run away from what they fear the most. That is where the main character Azusagawa Sakuta comes in. It is up to him to help the girls get over their struggles, and to fall in love with him. I did say this was a harem. He is the one who is there to help face reality and tackle the problems head on. Each problem is unique and they have their own solutions. The story and characters all make a strong narrative that keeps me watching despite the fact that they literally have a playboy character in there. Oh, and this stuff too. The anime is complete without an Imoto who loves her Oni-chan, right? This honestly reminds me a lot of The World That God Only Knows, one of my favorite series. T-Guac runs on a similar idea, except there's a lot more focus on the comedy. This anime focuses more on the problems that people face every day, and it's a lot more serious than T-Guac was in its first 2 seasons. I definitely recommend watching this anime. It's a very interesting watch, and you get to see all these girls just grow from their struggles. And by the way, Kaede is voiced by Kuba Yurika, who is the seiyuu for Hanayo Koizumi. In Irozuku Sekai no Ashita Sekai, we have a world of magic, but not so abundantly so like other anime. Some people are your normal human beings and others are witches. We have the main girl Tsukishiro, and she's from the future. She has a problem though. She's very timid, and she's also colorblind, physically and internally so. Her life is so mellow, and she doesn't have any excitement in her life. That's when she gets sent back in time to our present day era. There she sees art that lets her see colors for once in her life. On her journey she tries to see colors. This anime is a slower one filled with symbolism and deeper meaning. Perhaps one more like you would read in the English class. This anime is for people who enjoy a deeper story, a strong narrative. One about real life struggles and more down to earth slice of life. This main character embodies a lot of struggles that we all personally have. Overall, it's not really my cup of tea. It's a bit too slow for me to really enjoy it, but if you like very deep stories, this can be your type of anime. Tonari no Kyuketsuki-san, or this vampire who lives in my neighborhood is very much like, say, what I expect from K-On! Or Love Live or Yuri Yuri. It's an all-girl anime slice of life where essentially the main point of it is comedy. The main character is a middle school girl who decides to live with a vampire. Now let me remind you, this is an anime. Therefore, the vampire must be a lowly girl vampire who doesn't attack you or drinks your blood and collects anime figures. Well, she does drink blood, but she orders it from Amazon and warms it up with a microwave. Beyond that, it's just young girls goofing off with vampires. Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But the anime itself, it's just a little goofy anime with a bunch of girls doing things normal to, I guess, middle school girls in their adventures of life with vampires. So on a serious note though, overall I think this is a decent anime. I have watched most of it. I haven't completely caught up with all the episodes released, but I think it's a decent watch. It's definitely not my favorite anime, as it's not a full-blown great comedy in my opinion, but it's still a decent watch overall, and I feel like a decent amount of people will enjoy watching that anime. Thank God the Belmonts haven't figured out this place yet. Imagine if Romeo and Juliet was an anime. Well, here we got one. Kishuku Gakko no Juliet is about essentially Romeo and Juliet. Meet Inuzuka, aka Romeo. He's a part of the Black Dogs, and they mainly wear black clothes, and they are more of the mischievous kind. This is Pessia, aka Juliet, the perfect ideal girl who has good grades and can beat up a group of guys easily. In Romeo and Juliet, we have a tragedy about star-crossed lovers who are from separate families that hate each other. Having the public known of their love for each other would mean more. The anime is very much like that too. The black dogs hate the white cats. They're essentially polar opposites. Heck, even the name is as well. They are often brawling each other. And why is the school okay with this? I don't know. Romeo and Juliet are leaders that are revered by each group. Now, they aren't the top dog, or cat I guess, but they still have a lot of influence. Therefore, they gotta keep their relationship a secret. This leads to a lot of silly scenarios, which you can guess, where they have to hide things and they have to do silly disguises and whatnot to make sure that other people can't figure out that they like each other. But surprisingly, there are other girls in this anime, so do they end up liking Romeo? Yeah, let's go with that. No anime is complete without a harem, right? Anyways, it is another decent anime. The characters are wild and have their own unique personalities. It's not the first time an anime has been worked into this concept, and it certainly won't be the last, but I will give it props. It's actually decent. It's not as bad as I would expect it, and there are decent moments in the anime. Well, Fairy Tail is back, and this time for the last time. With major arcs like Tataros and the Grand Magic Games way behind us, where did we leave off? Oh yeah, Fairy Tail disbanded, so the guild that housed the characters such as Natsu and Lucy were disbanded after a series of episodes. Yes, this is the good old Fairy Tail once again, whether you like that or not. Fairy Tail is one of the first anime I've watched, so it's something that I would like to continue watching till the end. So Natsu and Lucy decided to resurrect the guild that was disbanded. After some effort, they managed to do so, but they cannot seem to find the guildmaster Makarov, nor do they know why it was disbanded. So this time they go and try to find them. That leads to some complications. The anime itself is not a whole lot harder than that, so I'll just leave it at that. There's more plot to be explained between there, but that's for you to watch for yourself. But as far as I can tell, it feels like the same old fairy tale, except everyone's stronger and enemies are even more powerful. As this is the last season, I imagine that this would be the biggest fight, or at least the biggest fight will be coming in this season. If you're a fairy tale fan, then yes, I would recommend watching this, because this is good old fairy tale, but if you're not a fairy tale fan, then I don't know if it's worth the effort. You will figure that out yourself. Gaikotsu Shontenin Honda-san, or Skull Phase Bookseller, well, it's an interesting series. So we're in a bookstore where a living skeleton is an employee. Well, in fact, everyone's basically a monster or something from Halloween. So this is kind of a slice of life kind of comedy anime, where it's about the struggles that an employee would probably experience while being in a Japanese bookstore where they sell books and manga. An anime about selling books and manga. Huh. The series has an interesting style. Also, don't you dare think I'll miss that Love I Shut Out right there. Anyways, so the first thing, the episodes are only about 12 minutes long, and frankly, I don't really seem to get the comedy too much. Like, at least once in a while I find myself laughing, but a lot of the comedy I just don't get it. Now, maybe it's because I haven't been watching anime for that long time, so I must be missing some of the jokes, whatnot, but I don't know, maybe it just feels like it's something you can only really relate to. But it seems like it's a good niche anime. So if that's your niche, then I feel like you will have a great time watching this, and I've seen people enjoy this. Personally, for me, I just don't click with it, so I don't really enjoy watching it. Try it out yourself and see if you like it, because you might like it. Thank you guys, I really do appreciate those who went and watched my video. I know I normally don't do this, despite my name being BS Anime. I would like to cover more anime in my free time, but I don't know, I didn't, but I at least put in the effort to do this, and this took a long time to do. But hopefully, I was able to do it justice. Remember, this is just my opinions and just recommendations. I'm not trying to bash anyone's favorite anime. I'm saying what I felt about certain anime and whether I would recommend it to you or not. That's all that is. Now, if you're interested in how I would rank certain things, I will have a award video coming out after this, so find a link in the description if you're interested on how I rank certain animes in certain categories. But anyways, thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in a Nerdgat video soon.